And what is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night. You're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy and my boy Brian D. Brian D, how you doing, my dude? Oh, wait, hold on. Still, man.
Still muted. Hey, how's it going? What's up?
How's it going, everybody? Sorry about that, Brian. So the thing is like StreamYard, which is a program that we use for the streaming service. I always apologize for this because it never makes sense. But sometimes when I play the intro videos, it mutes our stuff, and then sometimes it doesn't. With our waiting one, like where it's like no music, no nothing, it doesn't mute us. And that's the one that we're always like, oh man, you can hear us, you got to mute it. So when I mute that one, then I turn on the intro video mutes us. And then when it comes back, I have to manually hit the fucking the mute button for you, dude. And that's what sucks because I always fuck that up.
You literally have to do it at least once a week, and you still find a way.
Sometimes I don't. It's like
gotcha. All right, well, everything's great. I'm excited to be here this week. Pumped for the weekend. A lot of good things were happening for me this week, so I'm just like been all over the place. Still haven't been able to get to this room, so that's why I still is like this. But I finished my room. Got a lot of things going on in there, so I will eventually move on in here. Got a new camera coming, so a lot of exciting things going on. So just bear with me on the video side, guys. But other than that, man, I mean, I can't complain. We have a lot of good stuff to talk about this week. So finally, we have a week where we can talk about some cool shit. Yeah, man. So I'm glad to be here, man. How's everything with you?
It's been good, man. You know what? I've been getting this kind of weird vibe where I've kind of been in like a bummy situation.
So you see me, Rob. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you see me.
Yes.
You see me, baby.
The
We're
Dallas
ready.
Cowboys on the up
We're
and
ready.
up again, huh?
Yeah, man. Like this week, this Sunday, it's going to be a big game against the 49ers. I can't wait. Doesn't look like a lot of people are picking us, and that makes me feel even better because it'll be just that much more sweeter.
Dude, I don't know. I saw online that there was this like older gentleman that put like a $2 million bet down on the Dallas Cowboys in a casino.
Yeah,
like that they were going to beat the 49ers, and I was like, cool, man, this is going to get good.
Don't know if I would go that far, but yes. Yes, 2 million. Yo, 2 million is a lot. Like I can find something better to do with my 2 million than gamble it. Than gamble it on a bunch of grown men throwing a football around. But hey, man, to each their own.
But keep me up, okay? So like, I haven't been up in football. I've explained that before. I used to be a big 49ers fan back in the day when Joe Montana played for them. And
this is a good time to be a 49ers fan. Like that
really?
team is stacked. That team is really good. If you were to ask a lot of the experts say that the Cowboys stand no chance. But being that I am a Cowboys fan, I'm like, fuck that. But dude, the 49ers are pretty good. Not gonna lie.
So what strengths do they got, or what's the thing that they got this week that you feel like if
everything
the Dallas Cowboys was gonna pull it off, like what would it be?
Luck, dude, and luck, and like a stellar performance from Dak Prescott, which I don't know if he has. Like last week, he pulled out probably the best game I've ever seen him play ever. So he's gonna have to duplicate that this week and then some. To be honest with you, because the 49ers have little to no weakness. Their defense is probably the top ranked defense in the league. They're like on like their third starting quarterback of the season, and they're still performing at a high level, and it's scary. It's scary.
I feel like it would be a disservice if I jumped on the bandwagon right now just to watch the game, but the hype around this game seems to be like where it's at more than anything.
Not really. Like this is right around the time where a lot of people were going to be bandwagoning anyway, so you might as well just do it.
Just try to check it out or something.
Yeah, you might as well. Why not? It's a good time. I know a lot of people, aren't really into sports and things, but even just the atmosphere is really cool. So, like, especially this time of year for playoffs. Playoffs in any sport generally are just a really good time, yo.
True that. And then I must ask, and this goes to everybody out in the comment section. How did you all feel the anxiety levels of last week's game with that kicker guy missing like 4 kicks in the whole game?
Yeah, that wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. But again, being that Dak Prescott, the quarterback for the Cowboys, being that he was performing, it really didn't mean much. Only that we were looking into the future about what we're gonna do about kicking, like the kicking game. But they went out. They got a new kicker. I don't know if he's gonna start. I don't know if that was just to like light a fire under Maher's ass. I don't know what that move was, but we do have a new kicker, so we'll see,
man.
We'll see.
Yeah, because I'm like, I was talking to one of my students, Aaron Cortez, is one of my professional fighters, and he used to play football in high school.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Yo, this guy's literally paid to only be on the field, like those individual times. Like that dude's literally not on the field the rest of the time. Like you don't get that much field time being a kicker." So then to go out and literally fuck up the only 4 times that you're out on the
field. I don't like that. I don't like that. And I've heard it. I've heard it plenty of times. Like, oh, that's your only job. Yeah, I get that's your only job, but you have to figure the only time you're called is usually not the only, but like 80% of the time you're called to do your job is in a high pressure situation. I would love to see what some of you MFers out there would do in high pressure situations at your job and see if you excel 100 if you can excel 100% of the time. So he's a human being. He's gonna, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna come, he's imperfect, you know. He's gonna miss, you know. 4 times in a row is a big excessive. We may have to start reevaluating some things, obviously, but I don't like that commentary when people say, oh, it's like you're only, or they say like the kickers don't deserve as much respect. Yo, they're put in high pressure situations more than a lot of the other players on the team. So
true.
Let's keep that in mind.
True that. I want to say what's up to people in the comment section. Rob, the collectors, our boy David. Congratulations on starting your guys' podcast. Thank you guys for bringing me. They brought me on the show this past week.
Yeah, I checked that out, man. It looked cool, man.
It was fun.
Yeah, congratulations.
It was definitely different to be able to talk and sit down and talk about like the business level of podcasting and then how to be a successful podcaster, which is something that I mean, we get hit up about it a lot where people will hit us up individually and be like, look, like you guys have been in the podcast game for 1-2 years and you guys are still, the thing about it is us compared to a lot of other podcasters is we have consistent content. Yeah. Consistent content. And we don't ever flake on it. Like we always have content. And a lot of people, like when they get into the podcasting game, it becomes to get a little bit rough, you know, a couple months in when trying to figure out what to talk about or what to maintain is always the thing. And shout out to anybody that's out there trying to get that purpose and trying to get that bread by going into this, man, because it's not by far not the easiest thing to do when it comes to creating something, because there's so many ways that you can jump into podcasting. You can do it like us. I love to do live. You can do it pre-recorded, like Brian and the guys from the podcast majors or Gymcast majors. Like you guys do it all pre-recorded. So
yeah, I honestly like I love live, but my thing is like the pre-recorded. Yeah, that's like
it's fun. I feel like it's really good because like you don't like what I like about doing the live is that we get to kind of like work with our audience, right? So like we can have the conversation literally dynamically change in the middle of a conversation just by someone saying the right type of thing that gets the conversation to change. Just
get my hat in here, bro. Just want to let you guys know what's on this. I'm sorry, I ain't mean to cut you off.
So wait, I gotta ask, dude. Like, how is it walking around New Jersey with all your gear on? Like, do people like they question that shit? Oddly
enough, bro, there are an obscene amount of Cowboys fans over here.
You should totally make like a fucking like a meetup video, dude. Like if you go to bars, like to watch games and
I do.
And send that shit to Texas.
So in Jersey, there's obviously the Giants. There's a lot of Giants fans. There's a lot of Cowboys fans, a lot of Steelers fans, and a lot of Niners fans. Those 4 teams you'll find, and you'll be able to find a bar like there. I know a place not too far from me that's like a Steelers fans bar. I got a Cowboys fans bar, 2 Cowboys fans bars that I go to. There's Giant fan bars all over the place. So it's pretty cool.
I feel like that's like in its own way, like its own Vice like documentary. Like
what do you mean?
Like almost like territory like of the bars. Yeah. And then they have like a cool of all the fans in the bar, like, and then there's like a spokesperson that kind of like, I usually call everybody to meet up and we're running this. I feel like that's like a whole interview, dude.
Yeah, no, it's pretty dope. And honestly, like you would think that would create issues with like fights or whatever, but I really haven't seen any. Like when it comes to football, like it's just all like fun and shit. Like I think last Monday I went out to the bar and there were like Giants fans everywhere, and because the Giants had a pretty good game. Honestly, all the games this week are going to be pretty good. So yeah, it's going to be a exciting weekend.
I feel like the only slugging that ever happens in this shit is like at the stadium. Like
Yeah.
I always see some crazy shit pop off at the stadiums, but it's always like some weird chubby dudes that are up in like a stadium area, and then they get like pushed down, or like you end up seeing some fucking butt cheeks and shit because shit's just be popping off. Like I don't know, man, it's a little weird.
That's funny.
But yeah, the football guys they're a little wild when it comes to stadium work, but I always see the camaraderie when it comes to people meeting up and kind of like, once the game is done, they're like, I got you, bro. Like your team won.
Fun, yo.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love the camaraderie of the football. And then not only that, you cannot beat the tailgate meetup parties, dude. Like in the parking lots at some of those games, like, man, the food is wild. That is
listen. The tailgate is kind of. Listen, don't get me wrong. I love tailgating. Actually, sometimes I like tailgating more than the actual
game itself, right?
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it could be overrated because sometimes I may just have a poor judgment on how much I can intake my alcohol, because by the time I'm ready for the event, I am just trashed.
You're already done.
I'm trash, and then the reality sets in that I'm gonna have to, because like when I'm drinking, I like to like move around and have fun and like enjoy myself, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm sitting in a seat for like 3 hours and I have to just sit there. It better be an interesting game, because like sometimes I can't, like when Rob, I don't know if Rob's still in the comments. Me and my buddies used to like do a bar crawl in Brooklyn for like the NXT takeovers. We would sit there and just go just dive bar hopping for like hours and then go to like a wrestling event or whatever. But then we have to sit there for the next 3 hours wasted. It's like the worst thing ever. Like it's really the worst thing.
Oh, dude, and I must say, dude, my heart goes out to wrestling fans. There was the passing of a wrestler who died in a car accident recently. It was
yeah. So I just want to make sure that I wanted to say, hold on one second.
Yeah, I know his name is like
no, it's Jay Briscoe, but yeah. I wanted to make sure. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to make sure because it was updated just a few hours ago. So yes, Jay Briscoe died in a car accident a couple of days ago. That shook up the entire wrestling community.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
He was the Impact tag team champions, and he had been around for years. Like your favorite wrestlers right now in the game have either had a match with him or have crossed his path at some point. He's a 13-time
veteran.
He's a 13-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion. I'm still trying to figure out like who was in the car with him.
Yeah, I mean, me being on the outside, from what I had heard, which isn't probably even correct, it was him, his wife, and his children. But I know I'm probably a little off with that.
Yeah, so I think it was him and his wife for sure, and I know that his one child was in there with him. They were both in the car. Both of his children were in the car, and they are in the hospital. I don't want to speak too much on that because I don't know what the update is at the moment. But yeah, man, thoughts and prayers to his family, his friends, his fans, dude. Like I was a fan. So when I heard it, I immediately, contacted Rob, but I should have known better that Rob had already.
Yeah, I already knew.
Rob's on top of everything.
Things, man.
Yeah, so like, Rob, man, that was a big shock in the wrestling community. So yeah, it's crazy.
There's been so many things that are going on in such a crazy aspect, man. I just like my prayers and like I just want to send positive vibes out there because times are tough, man. Times are real bad right now. And then I don't know if anybody heard, but there's been like a weird vibe for Kevin Nash, whose son passed away.
Dude, that was wild, yo. That was wild. They sent
fucking killed me, man.
Yeah, they sent the cops to go to his crib. But yesterday, either yesterday or today. It was today, right? The cops had to go to his crib, dude. It's just crazy, man.
And is he all right? Like
I have no idea, but yo, just anyone that's listening out there, dude, like this is the season. Like just because the holidays are over, people are still going through it. Like depression is at an all-time high right now, and just check on your friends, check on your family members. Like you don't think like you're being annoying or whatever. Like sometimes that's what people need. It's just people just check on them. So yeah, man.
And remember, you're definitely not alone. You're definitely not alone. A lot of us deal with depression in our own ways, and it's rough. It's rough, but just don't be afraid to reach out. The world is a harder pace without you, man. I mean, look at how it is with that JDF guy, man. How weird it feels. Like I still feel weird when I see his videos, like on the internet, knowing that he, went on to the next level. You know what I mean? And then they're doing the 30-year anniversary episode for the Power Rangers, and they brought back a bunch of characters from back in the day. And there is a Green Ranger in it, but like it's just apparently like the stunt double of him that's just in costume all the time. But like, man, dude, what a fucking crazy timeline we live in. But of course, like we said, shout outs, prayers to the family. We hope also that Kevin Nash is okay. We don't want him doing anything harsh to himself. And all we can do as fans is just tell him that, we're here if he needs us, which I don't know if that's going to help, but just to know that the world's a better place. So, yeah. So this week was pretty cool because we actually got some normal stuff in nerd news. It's been very, very dry, like Brian was saying earlier. Almost 3 weeks of really nothing to cover or anything in the sense that's been going on. But this week we got some pretty cool stuff. One of the things I wanted to talk about, we got a couple of things that we're going to cover nerd news, and then we got some things that we're going to talk about that are pretty solid with a part of a conversation. The first thing I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if anybody got to see, Netflix released preview trailers for 2023. And in that trailer, we actually got teasers for Rebel Moon. So Rebel Moon is a movie that Zack Snyder, of course, everybody knows Zack Snyder for the Justice League film. And he created or started working on this film like 2 years ago, Rebel Moon. And it's like a Star Wars film. It's kind of like his own rendition of like a space opera and or a space spaghetti Western. And it looks pretty interesting. I don't know if you got to see it, Brian.
I have not checked it out. No.
Let me see if I could try to see if I can bring it. But the thing is like, nah, I'm not gonna bring it up. Fuck that.
I was gonna say, be careful.
Yeah, because it's cool because it's in a trailer, but there's so much other jargon in it that it's like I'd like to just focus on that. There's a couple of scenes in it, but nothing too crazy. Of course, we got the actor that comes out in Guardians of the Galaxy. That what's his name? Adamar. Let me see if I can find him real quick. I'm gonna type in Rebel Moon. That'll bring me up a casting of the list. Yeah, Damon Hansho. You know who that is?
No,
that's the dude that came out in the Guardians that was working with Ronan, that weird the guy that he's like that Drax tears that shit off the side of his head. They're fighting.
What about him again?
He's one of the characters in the movie. He's in Rebel Moon. And he's in the trailer, like speaking like almost like a general. Charlie Hunnam is in it. Oh yeah,
I was gonna say, like, you have like some A-list actors in this movie, and that's the guy that you want to name that's in the movie.
I love that guy. I think he's
got fucking Ray Fisher in the movie, Charlie Hunnam. Like, what are we talking about?
Look, I'm not even gonna lie.
Sir Anthony Hopkins is in this movie, and you picked the most obscure.
So the reason why that didn't come to mind is because in the trailer, the only people that show up are Damon and Charlie Hunnam, the guy from Sons of Anarchy.
Gotcha.
They're really the only people that kind of get shown. Like Ray Fisher didn't get shown. Anthony Hopkins definitely didn't get shown. But yeah, I didn't see Ray Fisher in it at all. And we know he's supposed to be in it. We've talked about it before. But that guy, he ends up having like a really cool speech. And me personally, like, I love that guy. I think he's an amazing actor. Like any kind of cool ass like gladiatorial speech that guy has, like just the way he delivers is always so amazing. The cast is super cool, but for some reason, I don't know if anybody got to see it. I kind of get like,
I'm not looking forward to it, bro. Like, I'm not really like, honestly,
there's no hype. Like, there's no like, I don't really even know what it is.
Honestly, it's more of the fact that I've realized this over the past few years. I'm not a big Zack Snyder fan, bro.
Really?
Like, he had the Snyderverse, and then that zombie movie was pretty cool, but that was it. Like, I don't get excited when I hear his name for a movie. Like, I'll see it eventually, but it's not like a must see for me.
See, Michael Betancourt says he was a badass Papa Midnight in Constantine.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was a great. That was a really good role. Him and even Shia LaBeouf in that movie, man. I feel like Shia LaBeouf was like really underrated in that film. Well, what about like The Watchmen though, in 300 and stuff like that? Was that not like out of all the
Watchmen was good. 300. All right, so I don't know if I can accredit that all to Zack Snyder.
Yeah, because those actually come from a different IP. Like he was picked up just to direct these IPs that have been created in front of him.
Yeah, I don't know if I give him 300 the 300 credit.
Yeah, that's Frank Miller.
But Watchmen was cool. I enjoyed it. It grew on me. I wasn't a big fan of it.
V for Vendetta also, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? Let me check.
And I think I've seen V for Vendetta like one time. I've seen it like one time back in the day. Awesome,
dude. I love that movie. Yeah, Army of the Dead. That's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, Army of the Dead. And again, like
Sucker Punch, dude. Wow.
Sucker Punch is good. Yeah, now, out of all the movies that we just named, Sucker Punch actually might be my favorite, which is weird. Like I have a weird taste of fucking movies.
No, for some reason, Punch was really good.
Sucker Punch was my shit. Like I love that.
That was a wild ride, man.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Out of all the movies we just named, with 300 included and everything else, Watchmen, I would rather sit. I can see myself sit down and watching Sucker Punch before I watch any of those other movies right now.
True that.
Personally.
Super crazy because I didn't really know this about him. Legend of the Guardians. Do you remember that one with the owls? It's like an animated film with owls and shit.
No.
Not like in 2010.
Oh, I don't remember. What is it? What was it about?
That one is literally about like owls, and they have like there's guardians, like they have armor, and like it's
that's
real
a little
fucking
bit
crazy.
That's
dude.
a little bit too like Narnia for me.
Kind of, yeah, kind of. But it's like a very Pixar, where like the owls are the warriors in their own culture and their own race, and they, like I said, they have armors and all this. But it's really good though. Like
gotcha.
down straight. It's pretty cool. Like I guarantee if you saw it with your kid, like you guys would probably like, okay, it's a good film to watch with your kids. It's a pretty solid film. I guess I was mistaken. I don't think he did V for Vendetta then as a director or producer. He did do, of course, the Justice League, the Watchmen, Dawn of the Dead. He did the Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman 1984. I'm guessing he was a producer on it. Yeah, and a lot of the Watchmen, Army of the Dead, Snow, Steam, Iron, Gotham City.
See, Mike, Sucker Punch is fucking amazing. Like I don't know, like that shit was. Zack Snyder was on acid when he directed that one.
It's such a crazy film, but it's really good.
It's really good. It's really good directed.
Place. Like just the idea of knowing that all of because the action part, the adventure part, all of the action scenes were just out of this world. The samurai scene, like that was some of the best like sword samurai shit like I'd seen in such a long time. And then for it to go back to the reality of her being like in a insane asylum and then getting like lobotomized.
She's a vegetable. Yeah, she ends up being like a vegetable. Yeah,
that's crazy. So cool, man. That was so fucking cool. I really appreciate that movie. The ladies are just beautiful in that film too. Beautiful.
The whole movie is beautiful. Like just I think that's what drew me in.
With like the haze. There's always like this weird haze that makes it look dreamy, whimsical. I guess like I don't know how to explain it. Very, very fantasy like. It was so cool, so fucking cool. But yeah, guys, there is some really cool teasers in that trailer if you want to check it out to see what we're kind of looking for.
So hold on. So you saw the teaser or trailer, whatever it is. Does it make you want to see it? Are you interested? Like, do you like what's the verdict?
I don't know if it was enough to really sell me because for some reason the vibes that I got from seeing the trailer were Serenity and Pitch Black? Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick. I don't know if you remember the Vin Diesel.
I remember.
It kind of gives me that vibe, and for some reason, Zack Snyder does that very Sin City / 300 / Watchmen comic book directing very well, where he gets like these really like for some reason. Zack Snyder has a really cool knack for always catching really badass computer background shots in movies. And what do I mean by that? Like they're like shots in his movies will come to a still frame and it'll look like a wallpaper on your computer. Like the badass computers, like when you have like the scene where he's fucking kicking the dudes off the side of the hill on 300 and all the dudes are like falling off of the cliff, or like when Leonidas has his shield and the rain is hitting him. Like all of those shots you would see on someone's like wallpaper on their computer.
Okay.
And when I was watching this film, I kind of felt like it was more like the Chronicles of Riddick movie, where you're looking at it specifically based on just the action, just for visual eye contact, not that image stuff, not where you're looking for real solid, like you're making those images. I don't know how to explain it. It's just so weird comparing like 300 to Chronicles of Riddick. Like both of them are still good films. You're going to watch them and sit them, but one of them is almost like cinematic with art and the other one's just cinematic with adventure. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So one of them cinematic with art, which is the 300 movie. And then the other one is cinematic with adventure because you're watching it just for like the thrill of the moment. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Both still great ideals, but it just doesn't hit the same way.
Did you by any chance get to check out Glass Onion yet?
Not yet. I saw it.
You didn't watch it yet? Okay.
Not yet. Why? What's up?
No, I just wanted to see if you liked it or not, because I really liked that movie. And I wanted to know whether, and you saw the first one, you saw Knives Out, right?
Yeah, I saw Knives Out. And I still, the thing is, I like those kind of movies because I like the whole like trying to context clues and figure out what's going on. So I'm really, really about those films. I just haven't had the opportunity to really sit. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Sit down and really watch those films. But right, we'll I guarantee I'll get to it. That was like this past week. Also, I didn't really get to watch Velma, and I really wanted to.
Okay.
But like, did you get to watch Velma?
I have no interest in watching that show.
There was just
it's not even that. I'm just not a big Scooby-Doo fan. Like, I'm not a big fan of the characters of Scooby-Doo. Yeah. I never was. I was a weird kid. Like, Scooby-Doo never interests me. Although I do like, what's the chick's name? That's Velma. What's her name?
Mindy something.
Yeah. I liked her in The Office. The Office.
She hated The Office. She talked shit about The Office.
I don't care. The Office is by far the best sitcom or comedy show of all time. It's not even close, to be honest with you. So she could talk shit about it all she wants, and she fucking like wrote half of the fucking episodes anyway, so she hates it. So that's fucking on her. So anyway, really yeah, no, I have no interest in watching that show, but I have been keeping an eye on it. That it's been getting a lot of backlash. Like, I don't know why. Like,
we'll chat about it for sure, but yeah, it's been getting torn up, and I think with all the tearing up of it and like the almost like the vibe of everybody coming together has forced me into this ideal that it's like, I can put it on hold. Like, I'm not in a rush. See,
I won't do that. I don't even know if you can do that in today's society. Like, everyone is just so toxic, and every fandom is so fucking toxic nowadays. Like, you can't take anyone's word for anything because everyone just likes to bitch and complain about everything nowadays, bro.
Yeah, no, that's true. But there's like a pretty big consensus of people that are against the Velma show. Like, so that's why it was kind
of. What are they saying? Because all I've been seeing is that it's been over sexualized. Like, this has just been very sexualized. Other than that,
a lot of people just are tearing into it, and the fact that, I mean, even I don't know if you know who that Penguins guy is on YouTube.
Who?
It's like he's this YouTuber with like really long hair. It's kind of like
what's his name?
Penguins. 01. Yeah, Penguins 01. Charlie. His name's Charlie, if I'm not mistaken. But this guy gets like 3 million views of video.
I don't care. Let's see this dweeb. Hold on, what's like Penguins?
Yeah, Penguins 01.
01. He doesn't even come up. Penguins 01. He doesn't even come up.
It's like a dude with long hair.
Okay.
Yeah, and that guy, he's been in the scene for a while, hangs around with a lot of YouTubers. Guy gets millions of views per video. Like, he's up there. And he's one of those guys that's pretty interesting, kind of open-minded, sits on the ideals of not being like conformist. So like for him, he's kind of open about all this stuff, and like he literally straight made a video that was like,
he looked exactly how I envisioned.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. You're like, yeah, he looks like his name. He looks like his name.
He is definitely a Penguins 01. I'm sorry.
And he talks like the way he looks.
Yeah, I believe it. Go ahead.
And yeah, he made a video about it, and he was, at first he was kind of like, before it came out, he was like, I'm gonna give it a chance or whatever. And when it came out, he was like, yo, it was really bad. It was really garbage. Like it was, and he almost calls it like an assassination of an original IP. So
see, that's what shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, excuse my language. I've been trying. You know what I've been trying to do? I've been trying to curse less because like YouTube's been bugging. Like YouTube is like they're really cracking down. They're cracking down. They're cracking down on cursing. So I've been trying to. But Penguins, you deserve this one. Like, dude, like get out of here, man. Like no one gave a fuck about Scooby-Doo and Velma. Like, what are you talking about? No one is retroactively sitting down and watching Scooby-Doo right now. Like, knock it off. No one cares. This is her version, her take on it. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But don't try to say, oh, it's an assassination of a character we all love. Shut up. No one loves Velma, bro. Like, what are we talking about? If anything, we love Shaggy and Scooby. Velma and the rest of them were just like the side dishes that came with the shit. But knock it off, bro. But that's what I don't like, yo.
But what do you prefer then? Do you? Well, I mean, this is going to go into the conversation later, and I don't want to jump the gun.
Why not? We're already here. What else we got to talk about?
Well, I mean, we got other stuff. Like, I want to be able to I still wanted to talk about it. Of course, Alec Baldwin got charged. I don't really know if anybody's talking about Alec Baldwin, but we know he shot someone on set by accident on a film called Rust. Well, he ended up getting charged, right? So he's got 2 charges. I'm just letting everybody know so that way they're up on some type of nerd news, right? So Alec Baldwin accidentally shoots somebody. Now he's getting charged for it. What is it? 2 terms of manslaughter. We talked about it earlier. It's not anything too crazy. What were the charges? Do you remember?
2 counts of manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, I think, and there was one with like a specific where it was like with like a
modified weapon or something.
A modified weapon or some shit. I don't remember.
And others are being charged. Oh shit! I didn't even know that. Oh shit! What's up, John? Shit, fucking John's in the comments. What's up, my dude? It's my bro right there from Corpus Christi. Man, my man. Yeah. So that's going on. All we're trying to do is just make sure everybody gets caught up. We do have a conversation to have about the Velma and of course like all that stuff, but. Alec Baldwin charged. I don't know who's been a big Alec Baldwin fan recently, but that's what's going on with him right now. Next part of the conversation, of course, this goes off of what we talked about last week and 2 weeks ago. Avatar breaks almost 2 million or 2 billion. It passed No Way Home, got released in China, as we said. So it looks like, James Cameron's getting closer to his goal, a lot closer to his goal. And, looks like there's possibility of hopefully us getting Battle Angel Alita 2, which is what I'm excited for because that's apparently what he's trying to focus on next is Angel 2 Battle Alita. I don't know if you remember that movie that passed a while back. Did you see that one or no?
No.
Man, that's a good film with Robert Rodriguez.
Okay.
That's a fucking awesome film based on an anime. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, recommended Angel Battle Alita. We also had our first look of Adam Warlock in Marvel. We got it in a trailer release. I don't know if you got to see it for Disney Plus, showcasing what we're looking forward to for Disney and Marvel in 2023. Brian, did you get to see the picture? What'd you think, man?
I mean, I think didn't we already see what he looked like before though?
No, I don't think so. Well, I mean, we saw it in that one trailer where he punches down, right? But this is where you get like full body, man. You can see this costume. I mean, if you're a person that's really dwelling into like the comic book, like costume designs and all that stuff, a lot of people look for these things. You get a full body shot. Not as big as I thought he was gonna be, compared to like his San Diego Comic-Con pictures. He doesn't really look all that stacked. He looks kind of like normal. I thought he was going to be like fucking Chris Pratt size, but he looks all right. But you know what? There's something. Are you looking at the picture?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
There's something about it that I'm not really vibing with the costume. It's kind of like, I don't know. There's like a lot of not moving parts, but like there's a little too much going on with the costume. It's not like simplified, or there's something about it that I'm kind of like, oh, all right. Like it kind of looks like typical superhero Homelander kind of thing. Is that kind of like a thing where like maybe that's kind of getting a little overdone?
It definitely looks like it's just a regular superhero costume. Like there's nothing special about it, right?
And then, of course, what James Gunn said is we're finally getting our first look at Adam Warlock in his infant stage, which I'm guessing this is going to be that since he's barely out of the cocoon, he's learning how to be a human or how to be some type of a person and whatnot. But yeah, interesting picks, good stuff. And then the last thing that we wanted to talk about for nerd news, of course, just covering what happened this week, was Jason Momoa finally met up with James Gunn and the other dude that he's working with. And apparently people were confirming that Jason Momoa left the meeting like screaming in joy. Like this guy was like super, and you can imagine Jason Momoa being like super hyped about anything walking out. This guy's loud as fuck all the time, stripping in front of, fucking late night TV shows to kind of do a haka and all this. This guy's going to be wild and on the way out. So that's good. And, the idea is, of course, Jason Momoa was working as Aquaman with DC for a while during the Snyderverse thing. So for them to kind of revamp the whole thing, get rid of people, and then go back to him and keep him, I think there's a big possibility that the reason why he left Happy is because they're looking at the idea of him doing Lobo, because he'd been kind of pushing for the Lobo character for it's kind of he's been about it for a little bit, and the Lobo character I kind of feel like it vibes more with his personality, where he's like that intergalactic biker, like just badass dude that smokes cigarettes and cigars and wears like leather and shit. I kind of feel like that's more Jason Momoa than Aquaman. So I think it'd be a cool character, and I hope that's what it was that got him all excited. Of course, we got one more other thing that we want to talk about, but we're not going to cover that right now. We'll cover that way for the very, very end. We still got a good amount of time. But now, let's go back to the Velma talks. So we got it all out of the way. Remember we were talking about that shit. We're like, man, Brian before the show was like,
yo, I'm confused as to what just happened. We could have just spent like another 30 minutes on that topic, but then you just like breeze through like 90% of our topics. That was just the weirdest thing ever. But okay,
those topics, back to Velma. I said before, before the show, we listed a bunch of stuff that we're going to cover this week, but a lot of it's like, like it's not really like they're good points and good topics, but like not in the sense where we're gonna be able to really carry a conversation.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that we're keeping everybody up to date on what's going out in the nerd news. Yes, that's really what it is. We're just giving you little snippets of information, but we do have topics that we want to talk about. Which, of course, if you got to see Velma and you sat through it, you watched it all, let us know in the comments section exactly what you thought of it. Like, give it to us. Like,
nobody watched that shit. Do you know why nobody watched it?
I want to know.
Do you know why nobody watched it? Because no one gives a fuck about fucking Velma, bro.
And I want to ask if anybody watched it, and the reason why is because I remember talking about this TV show happening like in 2022 with you, Brian. And Brian being like, I'm all about it, man. I want to see like a rated R Scooby-Doo and all this stuff.
I was just about to say, like, there was something else that was coming out where they did the same thing.
We need
it was
poo.
The same. It was
I'm like, honey or whatever.
Bro, no one has been thinking about these characters forever, and now when someone finally gets the bright idea to do something with it and actually bring light to the name and bring a spotlight to the character and do their own fucking version of the character, everyone is up in arms like, oh, how dare you touch this character? How dare you? Shut the fuck up, bro. Like you weren't supporting the character when you were a child. Like again, I'm just confused with just the culture and the narrative of things these days. Like it's funny to me personally.
I mean,
I support Mindy Kaling in this. I'm not gonna watch because again I don't care that much about it. But like, do your thing, yo. If that's your vision of Velma and you want to run with it, by all means, go for it. Like, who the fuck is for anyone to stop you?
But
and I don't want to hear that I love Velma shit.
What do you do when it all falls apart though? Like here you go. Like the director of the show.
What do you mean when it falls apart? What does that mean?
Well, like this show, like it completely got brailed by critics and audience alike.
Well, then that's just the chances that you take. It's just the chances that you take. Like if someone not your art isn't going to be liked by everybody, sometimes you're gonna put out a dud. Like that has nothing to, why should that say that she shouldn't have taken a shot or that she shouldn't have created her own version of Thelma. Do it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's the breaks. You could have stuck to the original IP of Thelma and it could have still tanked. So what?
Okay, so right now, Rotten Tomato is sitting at 50% tomato meter for critic ratings, 26 ratings in the critics. User ratings and audience score is at 6%, which I think I talked about this earlier with you. It dethroned Dragon Ball Evolution as being the worst possible film or show ever in Rotten Tomato scoring. And that's with a scoring of 7,627 reviews.
How much?
7,627 reviews compared to only 26 reviews in the critics ratings. So critics wise, professional wise, only 26 critics reviewed it compared to the users and the people, which is ranging at 7,620. You're looking at a huge difference in rating scores, right?
How? Because it's not good.
Yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it's I'm confused with what we're talking about, because like, are we talking if it's good? Because I couldn't tell you. I don't watch it. I'm not looking at, that's not my cup of tea. But no, okay, if we're staying in the same vein as keeping true to what it is, I don't think that has any bearing on the numbers you're giving me. It might just not be any good. It might not have anything to do with the fact that it's not sticking to the source material.
So with me in this situation, my thing is, there was another show that came out, same situation. It was an IP, same company. It was on HBO Max, and they're both originals dedicated by HBO. The one that I'm talking about is, of course, The Last of Us. The Last of Us came out this past week. One episode, and so far so good, in my opinion. I think it's too early to say it's some type of masterpiece, but so far all the actors have done extremely well. I think I think the idea of them trying to stay close to the source material has brought a lot of the original fan base from the video game to the series, which brings in the view ratings, like, you know, how many people are actually tuning in. And then of course you look at the Rotten Tomato score for this show, and it's at a 99% average tomato meter score for the critics, and it's at a 96% for audience rating. It's like super high up there on both of them. Now there were some minor changes to the show. They did, of course, a race swap with one of the characters. Some of the shots are not like, you know, fucking 10 for 10 against the video game or whatever the fuck. I'm not really like centric. I can't even remember half of the game most of the time. I played it like fucking a long time ago.
Sorry. I don't know if my face is coming off disinterested. I'm not, guys. I'm just reading some of the reviews under stuff, right? Rotten Tomatoes for Velma, and some of this is bullshit.
What are you reading? Or
what I'm reading? No. For instance, Mr. Max X says, this is 3 hours ago. He said he gave it a half a star. He said, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. You ruined Scooby-Doo. Did she really ruin Scooby-Doo, bro?
Oh, I haven't seen it.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen it, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the narrative. You're telling me that this show that you're saying that you love, which I'm not gonna argue that. Maybe you do love Scooby-Doo, right? She ruined Scooby-Doo because of this one fucking cartoon that we're watching. She ruined Scooby-Doo for you. You were that much of a Scooby-Doo fan that because of this show, you gave it a half a star and she ruined Scooby-Doo. This is what I'm talking about. And this is the majority of these things. The fact that it's not for kids, that seems to be a big one.
Is that like a big point? Like a lot of people are making
that a big point that it's not for kids. It's ruining it ruins the original IP, and that it ruins Scooby-Doo. To me, I call bullshit on that. I don't believe that. You weren't fucking sitting down and watching. When was the last time anybody has watched the episode of Scooby-Doo?
Well, I mean, it's a kid's show.
All right, so that was years ago. So why can't she like? I guess we're just not going to see the same on this one. Like that was years.
I get it.
That was years ago. No one is watching Scooby-Doo, bro. Like, why is it because of her iteration of one side character in Scooby-Doo that it's ruined for you?
Well, I mean, what the thing about it is you're taking an IP, right? You're naming all the characters based on the original characters. And you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to take that IP and I'm going to make it for adults. I'm going to make it for adults. Right? I mean, that would be the purpose because you're taking the original characters and you're making them adult wise because the people who used to watch that show are all adults now. Right? Yeah, did you see him? He's trying to read your window. He's trying to watch your window.
I'm telling you, I got it. This will probably be the last one where you guys have to do it.
Then you're gonna be like me. You just gotta go to the Sanctum Sanctorum for a day, dude. My internet was low, so I just called Dr. Strange to ask him if I can go to his room. He let me his office real quick. Okay, well, going back to what I was talking about. In the idea of the Scooby-Doo mentality, my opinion, it's just my opinion on the way I would have approached it. You're taking these characters, you're taking the same names and the same call outs, and all you're doing is you're adulting them because everybody who used to watch the show, like you said, like who's watching it? Like, well, okay, but then my question would be for this Mindy person, what's her name? Mindy
Kaling.
Who's her audience?
Exactly. And like, that's I think that's what it is. Maybe it's just not for you. Obviously, everyone's not a fan of The Office. Everyone's not going to be a fan of this. Like it's going to be for a very childish and obscene audience.
Well, we can't say that because we haven't seen it.
Well, no, that's what that's
really witness it.
I don't have to see it, but I'm getting that's what's going on here. A lot of these people that are reviewing it are they're just not into.
They're going off of a one-track mind of it being not.
They're not. Not only that, but they just have a different palette of funny than I do. Like I find her funny. I find some of the things that she does is funny, but I'm just not a big.
But how do you state that? Out of that many reviews.
Because I watched The Office. I've watched some of her other things that she has written. I
guarantee out of the 7,627 people that are reviewing this, someone had to have seen The Office also.
Okay.
Like out of the consensus is literally at 6% for just random people. And I'm trying to like ideally.
And that's the reason why if we were going to speak on this, I'm going to read the reviews. I'm not just going to like guess. That's why I'm sitting here reading. That's why I'm sitting here reading the reviews. And I'm telling you, the majority of them are just butthurt because they think that the show that they quote unquote loved from as a child, as you put it, is ruined. And I think that's bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't sit here and just cape for Mindy Kaling to have the freedom of doing whatever the fuck she wants to do if I'm not going to actually sit here and read some of the six percenters that are sitting here saying that it's complete dog shit. So I'm sitting here and I'm reading it, and that's the majority of it. The majority of it are just trashing it because it's not what they wanted to see out of Velma, and I think that's bullshit.
And you know what? I just saw this in the comment section. I kind of got the same vibe from Rob. Is I kind of feel like the way that they were kind of like a coming to the show was based on like the Harley Quinn show, right? Would be like there's a lot of that adult style humor. Like a lot of people are pushing on this idea that. You know, you give these characters the opportunity to cuss and be violent and show blood and be a little bit more like The Boys or whatever, but that it could work. But like, I have to be explained. What does it mean by Scooby-Doo is now a human girl? Like, I don't understand. Like, are you saying that they've changed the character from the dog and now have turned it completely into a human? Like,
all right. Listen, we have homework to do. We're gonna watch this shit.
I mean, we gotta watch.
We're gonna watch it now. We're gonna watch it because this is crazy.
Yeah, because now me and Brian practically have to do a watch party. You know what I mean? Like, I think sitting down and watching it together.
We're gonna have to watch this now. Like, I literally had no thought on watching this shit, but now I at least have to watch it.
Okay, there we go. Look, okay, so John's wife, Mel Herrera, she's in the comment section under John's quote, and she says, "I love the original Scooby Doo, but I have watched the Velma show and it rocks."
See, it's gonna be different. It's gonna hit for different people. Like if you have the palette for Mindy Kaling's humor, then you might like it. You're gonna like it. And that's probably maybe that's only 6% of the motherfuckers that are on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's not gonna be for everyone. But to say that
Mel, if you can give us like a little bit of description of what it was that sold it to you and that you really dug about this show. And that's all I want to ask. Like, just be completely honest about it. And anybody else in the comment section also, like, I want you to be completely honest. Like, don't be like just chauvinistic and like, no, Scooby this and it used to be like that, because that's not what the writers and the director were going for. They had a whole other take on this, which, you know, Velma has her moments. You know, Daphne, Fred, like everybody has their purposes that they play in the show. Even the idea of the female Scooby-Doo being an actual person, I'm guessing the reason why they did that is because, well, how do you sell a talking dog, you know, back in the day, hanging around with a dude who is like a stoner, like just all the time, just munching. In fact, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the Shaggy character is kind of like in a love interest with Velma, from what I've heard, and he gets rejected all the time. So to give him a female accompanying character that would be like a stoner guy like himself, then they go around and they do their own things. It's just two stoners hanging around eating and chilling out. Like, it makes perfect sense to be like Scooby and Shaggy, but it's just humans. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, it just goes to show. And then I know that there's some other stuff. I know that they've done some stuff with Daphne, of course, Velma.
But I think there was a bigger point. I think there was a bigger point you were trying to make when you were trying. I think you kind of got off of it when you were talking about The Last of Us. I think you were heading into it and then you just like bailed. So you were saying, and I let me just take it over because I think that's where you were going. You were saying that, you know, more or less The Last of Us that aired on HBO, is it this week, last week? Either way.
Yeah, it premiered this past week, and the acceptance of the show is like off the chain. Like, everyone is just flabbergasted with
why is that? Why is that? Why is that?
Man, I don't know. I saw it and I thought it was cool.
No, but I'm saying no. Don't bail now, because don't run from the smoke. You were gonna make the correlation that everyone loves The Last of Us because it stuck to the source material, as opposed to Velma because it doesn't stick to the source material. And I was gonna argue with you about that.
Oh no, I 100% agree with that. But I'm just
I saw that coming a mile away, and I think that's 100%. Bullshit.
I think with the idea of the show sticking to it, and I've said this a million times when it comes to Marvel, comic books, DC Universe, the storyboards are there. The IPs are there. The reason what makes them masterpieces is because they were successful before the movies fucked them up. Like, all of that stuff was laid out on stone and it was great. Is there opportunity for people to change things and fix it? Yes. But if it doesn't work, you deserve to be criticized for it. That's all I'm saying. When I watch The Last of Us, of course, I'm going to go in there and be like, okay, there's a video game. I have reference. I have resource.
Did you play the video game?
Yeah, I played it, but I wasn't like I'm not going to be some fucking weird person and be like, oh my God, I played that. No, I just casually went through it and I was like, okay, cool. It's a fucking.
So let me ask you a question.
It's Resident Evil with clickers.
I played that game multiple times. So I was very interested in watching this show. I played both games. Do you remember most of the things from the video game that transpired in the show?
Not really. My friend Alex, usually in the comment section, he was with us when we were watching it. And I was like, I did remember some stuff, but like, I wasn't very like, not 100% like, okay, this is the angle of the shot. And this is like, but word for word, I do remember it from the scripts, but like not where like he was walking or like a moment where he has to like, where like him and his brother get separated and he's walking with his daughter and he's carrying her. Like, I know that goes a different way.
So it actually goes exactly how it was. This show is very source material accurate. Oh, yeah. It's very fucking accurate. But what I'm saying is the reason why the people like The Last of Us is because it's a fucking good show. The majority of the people watching have not played that fucking video game. There's a very small niche of video gamers that are watching this because they liked the video games. This is a great let's not get ahead of ourselves. This was a great episode. That's the reason why it's ranked so high. It was acted well. The little girl that played the daughter, phenomenal job.
She did good. She did real good.
Everyone did a phenomenal job. The reason why it's rated so high is because it's a good movie. It's because it's a good show, not because it stuck to the source material. You can't say that. You barely even remember the video game. So even
I'm saying straight up, like, okay, taking away the video game and going off of what they gave us in the first episode,
it's a good show.
Wait, hold on. Calling it a good episode. What was it about that gave it a good episode?
I just told you what it was.
Literally, it was his birthday. He went to work. He left his daughter. He then comes back. She then notices this, runs into the neighbor's house, typical doors open and all this.
Mm-hmm.
What was
that's the video game. What are we talking about?
No, see, that's the thing. You're basing it on the video game.
No, I'm not. You're basing it. No, you're basing it.
What is it that
you're saying that it's a good show because this is what we're talking about. Just to double back really quick. Yeah, you're saying that everyone that the reason why The Last of Us is
super successful.
It's super successful is because it's sticking to the source material, and the reason why Velma is
trying to act like they know the source.
Let me finish. You're saying that it's so accepted because it's based on the source material, and Velma is not. I'm calling bullshit on that. I'm saying the reason why it's so well received is because it's a good show. It's got good actors that did a really good job, that did the best they could with the source material that they had. That's the reason why. It's not because it's based on the source material. You barely know the source material. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm failing to see what your point is here. Like, the people that are looking at this show for the source material is a small niche. I fit into that niche. Like, it's a small niche that played that video game that knows exactly what's going on. The rest of the people, it's just a good fucking show. It's a good episode. That's the reason why it's ranked so high.
So for me, and I'm not trying to act like I know a bunch about this shit, and I've 100% put that out there. I think it was an okay episode.
Okay.
And the reason why I think it was an okay episode is because there's a lot of information that's given, but it's not truly explained throughout the first episode.
That's fine.
My call. That's my call.
That's fine, but you can't move the goalpost. You can't use the fact you can't use the fact that the show is ranked so high, but then you only say, "Oh, well, it's only good for me." Like, you can't. I'm failing to see how you're able to do that. You can't say, "Oh, well, this show is up here." But
that's me basing it. That's me telling you what the ratings are on Rotten Tomato.
And I'm telling you,
that's
it's
not
like
my
that.
Rating. That's not my rating.
I get that, but I'm telling you that's the reason it's ranked so high is because it's a good episode. It's a good episode. Like, it's a great episode, actually. It's the acting. I don't know what more you want from anyone else to act in that show to do a better job. Like, I think everyone that was in, except for the there was a couple of actors that I could have probably done without, but for the most part, everyone did a really, really good job. Like, that was a good episode, and I don't know who else you're going to cast in those positions to do a better fucking job, to be honest with you. Like,
I said it before. I think if you go back to the beginning of what we talked about, I said all the actors did a phenomenal job. Mm-hmm. I think the cast is great, even with the idea of them race swapping a character based on who she is in the comments or in the original source material. But that's like lightly basing it, because not even basing it on that. I think everybody did a phenomenal job and did their job as actors.
So what's your problem with it?
I don't have a problem with the episode at all.
Okay.
All I'm stating is the confusion that I got right now is there's a huge acceptance of this show. Ginormous exception. And you're absolutely correct. I think a large majority of people played a little bit of the game and never played it truly as fans. But are still clamoring at the idea that it's highly based on the source material and very close to it, and it's really well accepted because of the fact that people want to see things more based on the source material a little bit closer. That's all I'm saying in this situation. I think people are stating.
So wait,
the studios are going to start to realize that
the people that have never played the game, that don't know anything about it, are watching it.
To me, I mean,
no. Just listen. No. Just let me make sure I'm getting this Correct.
Yes. Okay.
You're telling me that the people that never played the game, that don't know what the fuck The Last of Us is watching it or giving it a good score because to their knowledge, it's based on the source material.
Yeah, because a lot of the fact, all of these people, even if they never played the game,
yeah,
they can just jump on YouTube.
Yeah,
they can just jump on YouTube and watch the fucking cinematics.
Yeah,
like I mean, that's not a not occasional thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the fact. I'm gonna just go on the fact that it was a good episode and that the actors did a really good job. That's the reason why it's rated so high.
I 100% agree. I think they did a fantastic job. The actors did great. I think the show is pretty cool. Me right now with the first episode, I feel like there's not enough information given. There was a lot of stuff thrown at us, and it's very rough. That if you don't play the, like, if you never played the game,
yeah, if you haven't, if you played the game, you know exactly how the show is going to go. That's the reason why. That's why
who's never played the game. That's
no, what I'm saying. That's the reason why I'm confused as to when you started making the point about what the show was about, and I don't know if you were ragging on it. I was confused there. I don't know if you were ragging on it.
The show. I don't think anything.
But I'm saying like you can't. That's not anyone else's. That's not anyone's fault because that's the game.
My point is going back to comparing this show to the debut of another show, Velma, that happened on the same time. Do you think that this is like a good social experiment for studios to realize that maybe sticking to the original source or at least somewhat closer to it does better for their IPs, comparing it to just having someone have a fucking free-for-all with whatever, just using the assets instead?
That's not boring to you, yo. That's not boring.
Boring doesn't make money. Boring doesn't make cash, dude. Like right now, Last of Us is no. And they spent money on Velma. And right now it's getting anal.
I like creativity. I
do too. I 100% agree. But it's not creativity when you're stealing from another IP.
Well, that's sticking to the source material. Sticking to the source material is stealing from the same IP.
Yeah, but it's not creating. There's no creating.
What do you mean? If you stick to this, if you stick
literally
all right. If you're sticking to the source material, if you're sticking to the source material, you're literally robbing from somebody else. If you're creating your own thing, you're making your own lane. That's how I fucking see it. Like if that's funny how we always get back to like this. we always come back to this. Like we always have this argument about the source material and whether it's bullshit or not. Like, and I love the fact that we can argue about this. Like honestly, I really do. I appreciate it. But yeah, dude, I think that's boring. I think if everything just sticks to the source material and everything just is in a cute little conform line and this is how it's supposed to go, and if you deviate from this, then you're going to piss off a lot of people. I think that's bullshit, bro. Okay. I like that people hold on one second. I like the people that are going to go outside the box and have their own fucking creativity on things that fuck it. It might be even on the things that we loved when we were a kid. Fuck Scooby-Doo, bro. I'll be here to say fuck Scooby-Doo, bro. No one is sitting here watching Scooby-Doo anymore, bro. Like fuck it. Fuck Scooby-Doo. Cancel me. Fuck it. Like if you want to go and take a character, make her gay, have her bang Shaggy or have her smoke joints, go do it, bro. Because no one's fucking watching Scooby-Doo right now, bro. Who cares?
Okay, and that's a good point. Because how do you reinvigorate an old IP that no one gives a shit about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who the fuck is still watching Scooby-Doo? Makes
like a fucking a rated R fucking Fraggle Rock. You know what I mean? Like who the fuck was talking about Fraggle Rock or the Smurfs before today, right?
So if somebody comes out with a Fraggle Rock and all the Fraggle Rocks are in a giant gangbang
and they're doing like fucking deathcore metal, like fucking Ghost Man or something.
Oh my god, you ruined Fraggle Rock for me. Oh my god, you ruined Fraggle. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut up.
Or you know what? I'll throw a huge curveball. Huge motherfucking curveball. What if they redid, this is just out there, if they did a new Mr. Rogers and they made it like a black man? They made it a black man. Like, do you think that would fucking, there had to be some motherfuckers that flip out.
I think there will be. I won't understand why, because who gives a fuck? But like, there's going to be an audience for it, and if they enjoy it, then let them have their fucking fun, bro. Let them enjoy it. Like, let them enjoy it.
As a matter of fact,
if you want your Mr. Like, listen, your computer still work, your TV still work. If you want to watch your Mr. Rogers, sit your ass down and watch that boring ass fucking show and enjoy it.
Like, he was a nice guy.
He was a cool dude,
Yeah,
but the show was boring. I just was as a kid, I couldn't fucking stand it.
Sal
but
says,
if that's what you want to watch, you can sit there and watch it. You have a fucking computer, watch it.
Let me go back a little bit. I just want to make sure we're making sure we catch up with everybody in the comment section. So this would be Mel Herrera talking for John because we asked her to explain it. Maybe there are too many political religious sides that don't like the lesbian side of the story and the way that Fred is emasculated. Strong women characters, different take. Okay. I definitely have to watch it to see what that explains, but I'll totally check it out. Sal Seguda says, but yeah, falls in love with Scooby. Okay, I guess he's talking about when we talked about the Shaggy character falling in love with Scooby, right? Or the female character that's not Scooby. George says, I think the other one also, The Last of Us also triggers nostalgia, which I guess was going back on the idea on why the show was so successful. For people who had probably watched it, it triggers that type of nostalgia. David says, The Last of Us was the show that we needed, especially after The Walking Dead. Velma was something we didn't need, LOL. Well, I mean,
I'm going to disagree there. I'm going to disagree there because
it's understandable, but that's I think that's maybe a little too much. But
honestly, I think I'm just done with the whole zombie shit. Like, honestly,
I mean, but there's a part of me now that, like, now that there's so many people that don't like it, that I want to watch the Velma show and I want to understand it.
I'm gonna watch it. No doubt. Yeah. I'm gonna watch it.
I have to now. Like, I really have to.
But I mean, just in the sense of saying that we needed this, especially after The Walking Dead. I think everyone is just like over the zombie apocalypse thing, and it's gonna mirror that. But the reason why people are liking it is because it's a good fucking episode, bro.
Nice.
Like, it's a good fucking episode.
And that also correlates with what George says. He says The Last of Us was nice. Okay. Very, very good. Iran Bulaz Raban, thank you for jumping on the show from Twitch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much. He says, I miss Shaggy. I guarantee a lot of people probably do with the way the ratings are, but we got to give it a little bit of a chance. You know, check him out, see what's up about it. You know, try your best to keep an open mind. Give it a chance. And if it's not something you like, leave a rating on it and, you know, go on from there. Don't try to hurt people from eating. I always try to tell people there's a bunch of people working on that show and all of them need to get, you know, make money to make rent and food, you know, give them a chance and let them have their creative inputs. Jesus Cervantes says the music too hits if you played the games. That was from Last of Us, I'm guessing. The soundtrack that's used in the episodes are fairly well, very ominous, very dark and kind of like, you know, creepy and scary. Yeah. Sal also says it was me. I fell asleep watching it, which was, I'm guessing, for Velma. I'm guessing, is that what you're talking about, or Last of Us? You got to explain that a little bit more. Georgie says, can we use the Resident Evil movies with Alice as a case study using Chris's logic? How many peeps were mad that Alice outshined Jill Valentine? And you don't like the song women meme is not a play since they're both women. I don't really understand the last part. But yeah, the idea would be the case study. Like, you have Jill Valentine and you had Alice, but Alice being Mila Jovovich kind of outshined the Jill Valentine story. She ended up being like a weird supporting character. So, but then again, from there you had those movies. Jill, between me and my friends, I call Mila Jovovich the franchise killer. Like, you're only going to put her in a movie when you do not want your franchise to do well anymore. She single-handedly almost killed fucking Monster Hunter with just that one film. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But
yeah, I'm gonna agree with George. Like, the Resident Evil movies didn't follow the source material. Like, that is a case where they didn't follow the source material, but that's not the reason why it failed. It failed because those are shit movies, bro.
Yeah, it failed.
They're not good. They're not good movies.
But the thing is they lost the fan base from the people who really liked the IPs originally, because in the first like 2 films, it started to deviate a lot from the source material, which a lot of people, when they first went into this, you're looking at a time when they were doing Fantastic Four, when they were doing X-Men, and everything was sticking to source materials. But it was Fox. It was someone that was making them very cartoony.
What's wrong with not sticking to the source material?
Okay, 100%. Look at the new Resident Evil series. Did not stick to any source material, and it got shit on.
I'm asking you, what is wrong with not sticking to the source material?
You have 100% investment in history based on characters you're using. So when you go into that series, a lot of people that are looking at that series are going to be basing it on the history. So when you go in and you say, okay, cool, I'm going to rewrite the Bible, Jesus Christ story. But instead of Jesus being born in a manger, he's a
black dude with a machine gun and all that shit.
He fucking flew in from space. And the three wise men were 3 Asian dudes that came in, and they were all worked on IT. And all you're doing is you're just flipping the script on everything. Okay. And you may be trying to be edgy, or you may be trying to implement some like maybe like a religious or like a woke, like people say, movement. But the thing is people are trying to put their own impersonated passions into it. And they're trying to feel because they want some relatability to this source. I would read.
My version of the Bible would be lit. I promise you, yo. It would be lit. Trust me, bro. I'd come out with some
Passion
wild
of the
shit.
Christ 2, The Return of Jesus.
I'm low key nuts, bro. I keep my composure on here, but I'm low key nuts. Go ahead.
Yeah, it'd be super crazy, dude. Passion of the Christ 2.
Yeah.
The resurrection. The fucking camera zooms in from the hand and out the hole and shit.
1,
It'd be wild, dude. It'd be fucking wild. But it's one of those things where they take the assets of these things and the most hardcore thing I think I could say is they bastardize it. They bastardize the original IP off of these assets. Why not, if you're a creative, just make your own original story, create your own characters, create your own backstory. Fuck using fucking, you imagine someone basing a series based on the Ninja Turtles and calling it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and then being like, oh, fuck, we weren't turtles. We were fucking ferrets. After all, at the ending of the show, you're going to be like, dude, what the fuck? You're going to be disappointed. This is
my problem.
Things to get disappointed off of it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's the point. That's the psychological point to it.
When it comes to comics specifically, I will never understand your argument for the source material, because even your source material changes over and over and over again. Everything gets retconned in comic books. So when we have the conversation about source material, I want to call bullshit every fucking time you bring it up, especially about comic book shit, because who the fuck knows what's going on in the comic books at any specific time, right? But when it comes to movies or shows or whatever, like, you still have that. You can go back and watch Scooby-Doo if that's the version you love. You can go back and watch Mr. Rogers if that's the version you love. Like, if I wrote a fucking Bible that you didn't like, a new version of the Bible, you still have the Old and New Testament to go back to and subscribe to whatever the fuck it is you want to. Mm-hmm. Why are you butthurt that I'm taking my version of that and doing my own thing over here? If you don't like it, don't fuck with it. Fuck with your shit over here. That's fine. Why is that not just a common thing? Why is it you have to shit on this over here because it's not something that you are used to? Is it like one of those things where, people are just comfortable and set in their ways and just traditional, and anyone that breaks that mold is going to upset them? I think that's where the root of that problem is. It's like anyone that upsets your tradition, anyone that upsets your routine or what you're used to, what you're comfortable with, it's going to create an issue with people. And I don't subscribe to that though, at all.
Well, I have a counter for that.
Shoot.
And my counter is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yep.
Based on the entire Jane Foster series of Thor, the Thor comic books, the Mighty Thor, based on her run. Yeah. Very controversial in the comic book realm.
Yeah.
It was accepted by many, not accepted by many. A lot of people hated it. A lot of people loved it. Some people like some parts, some people like other. It was controversial nonetheless.
Yeah.
Hasn't been retconned. Still kind of like through and through major of the story. They go off and they adapt that story to film.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just create their own thing if they want to be creatives? And look, listen, this is all I'm saying.
You know the answer to that. That's what pisses me off.
You have every opportunity to rewrite or to create a whole new arc.
Yeah.
But you don't make the arc. You base a whole series based on an arc, which is almost promising to people who invested and supported the source material that you're going to stay true to it, because that's the story that made it famous. And that goes off of any story, the Infinity Gauntlet, you know, fucking Captain America Civil War. Like, they didn't call it Civil War because they wanted to fuck it up. They wanted to call it Civil War because they wanted to bring in the support of the people that read that comic and build off of that idea.
Yeah, but that's nothing like the real Civil War in the comics.
It was not exactly.
But it's one of the. It's a good movie. It's a good Marvel movie. It's a good Marvel movie that is nothing like the source material. No. Vaguely, it's got like a hint of the source material. And when it hold on, because you brought up Thor: Love and Thunder. Let me address that. You brought up Thor: Love and Thunder. That wasn't just one arc that we're bringing in here. We're bringing in multiple arcs into that movie. Don't think I lost that.
I understand that.
There's multiple. So how are you going to make a movie with multiple storylines in 2 hours? That was their version of trying to get.
That's every Marvel movie. Every Marvel movie does that.
So then why are we shitting on Thor: Love and Thunder then? That's my problem.
To me, that was one of my.
You just said it. It's every Marvel movie.
No, I'm 100% about that. Yeah, like I am telling you, the format and the template to create films based on different arcs is 100% there. It's 100% been there since the very beginning of it. In fact, I mean, the whole first phase was all based on individual comic arcs, only bleeding in from like 1 or 2 stories. But mostly based on individual arcs that were like almost legitimately to the source material based on the first phase. Now, of course, later on during the phases, they're pulling from a lot more different resources and references and different arcs in the comic book series. That's not the problem. The problem is if you want to create, like Taika Waititi, not a bad director. Mm-hmm. He's come through a million times. He's a comedian. He's done different movies that are all based on original IPs and stories he's created, and they all work extremely well. That's why he gets that job in the first place. Mm-hmm. And then they make him stay with some source material, and he's like, nah, fuck that. I don't really want to do that. And then he butts heads. And they're like, look, we don't want to tell you what to do, but like, just try to stick to the material as much as you can. And then he just does his thing. What if you would give him the opportunity and say, hey, you know what, Taika Waititi, we love what you do as a director.
Yeah.
Marvel wants a Thor story. And in the comic books, he does this, and this, based on this, and this, and these arcs. Mm. What do you think? And he says, they're cool, but I can do something better. Okay. We're not going to name it based on the series of arcs. You do it all openly and creative. We give you permission to create your own arc, and we're going to call it Thor, God of Love, or Thor, I'm in space, or Thor, I sell Girl Scout cookies, or whatever. I don't give a fuck what they call it, but you know what I mean, right? Like,
no, I get you.
Then the movies then have this awesome opportunity to create their own individual arcs. And then going back to like the weirdest fucking pickup that I'm going to mention is my boy Doctor Strange. He let me his office for today. Okay. Doctor Strange 2, they mentioned how we're in the 616 in the MCU, which again, it made a lot of people upset. And I was one of them. And you guys called me out for being a weird fucking nerd, that it's okay, Chris. It's okay. Don't fucking kill yourself over this. But they could have said it was different.
That was a good conversation too, by the way.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was good.
But they could have said, you know what? We made a mistake. It's not the 616. We're the 618. And we're a little bit different, but we're kind of close. And then utilize that in the comic books and be like, hey, there is an arc, a stretch of comic book series based in the 618, and they correlate in the multiverse with the 616 and the Ultimate and all the different series. And you can continue to build these stories without them having to relate to the 616. In fact, that gives you the opportunity later in like the Spider-Verse to run into the movie versions. And base it off of that conversation. So when we bring in new readers and they go into comic books and they state, 616 is a multiverse, you're looking at the MCU. If that's what you like, here's the 618 series. Like, here's that Marvel story of like where Taika Waititi was the Thor with the funny guy and the daughter. Here's a little bit of like backstory with him. Because like right now, the situation is like, let's say you watch Thor: Love and Thunder. Mm-hmm. You go to the comic books and you're like, hey, where's that arc where Thor has his daughter? I want to read about her. And they're like, fuck, I don't even know what the fuck that is. Like, there's nothing about that. You know what I mean? And then there's no reference to it. But I think that gives them the opportunity if they want to go that direction. I know that's like far-fetched, but there are things that they need to establish better when it comes to these films. The Velma series, it has potential to do some fun stuff.
I'm literally still reading.
You're going through the comment section,
the reviews and shit. Yeah,
and
they are taking a big just crap all over this show. It's crazy.
And I guarantee, I get it. I guarantee a lot of those comments are ranging on the same aspect.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they fucked up Velma. You know, they didn't even have Scooby.
I'm seeing a lot of as well. I'm seeing a lot of people say, you know, just the jokes aren't funny, which now see, that is some criticism I will understand.
Critique.
Yeah. If the jokes aren't funny, then that's fine. That's valid.
That goes back with sometimes it lands, sometimes
it doesn't. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't. Like if it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. But don't give me that. My precious childhood is ruined. My precious childhood memories are ruined. Shut up.
Yeah,
shut up.
The thing is I think a lot of people were also saying that the character of Velma is very unlikable.
That too.
That's a pretty good critique. I think that's pretty strong because that bases it more on the writing and the character and the acceptance of the relativity of the character. I think that's very important. I think a lot of people were saying I think Mel in the comment section under John's comments said it earlier, where Fred has been emasculated, so he's very dumb, naive, kind of like a weak man. Where back in the day in the cartoon, he was kind of almost like the rally point, the Captain America of the team. He was always the one to bring everybody together. A lot of people assume that him and Daphne would go out and bang while everybody else was looking for stuff. But that's of course being, a little dirty minded, I guess you could say, and just not assuming that they were still working and doing their stuff. But I mean, for what it's worth, we have to give people a chance. And like we said, if it's not accepted and the writing's bad, it has to be critiqued on. But if it's one of those things you're claiming that this, if it ruined, it shouldn't ruin your childhood. Your childhood, you're not a kid anymore. Your childhood's still there. It's not going to be destroyed
because Mindy Kaling decided to come out with a fucking show. Shut up, bro.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, shut up.
Dying. But I think that's also a cry for people that are saying that they would have probably highly or more appreciated if they would have just done a story based on the original Scooby-Doo cast, but grown up. You could have Daphne be a psychology college person. You can have Fred be a police officer. Velma becomes a forensic scientist. Shaggy has a dispensary. And Scooby-Doo got rabies, or I don't know. He's he bit someone and is he's got a fucking collar on, or I don't know what the fuck. You could have done some stuff where you could have adultized the show, and them actually go on a series where someone's a fucking Dexter, or them really go after someone that's a fucking serial killer, and them really be using the same stupid format, the kids I solved a mystery. Whoa, look at that fucking footstep. Oh, those shoes.
So it would have been kind of fun. So I'm reading this one. I'll just read this one, and the majority of them are pretty much the same. But Thomas, this is from 23 hours ago, gave it a 0.5 star. He said, I've always loved Scooby-Doo as a kid, so I watched every version that's been done.
Wow.
This is absolutely the worst. If you're going to change everyone's race and story, just come up with your own original characters. I only chuckled one time in the first episode. It seems to me that this was made just as an FU to the fans. It's supposed to be a comedy and it's just not funny. Now, the interesting thing to me is it seems to me this was just made as an FU to the fans. Why are you taking this so personal? Why are you taking this so? And I think that's where my issue. Why are you taking this so personal? This is not a FU to the quote unquote Scooby-Doo fans, which shut the fuck up. Why are you taking it so personal? I don't understand that part.
Do you think this correlates to like that like the writers and the director and producer were anticipating the backlash and they were trying to be meta with their commentary or their writing and like the way that they kind of claimed it for She-Hulk?
You know what I like? Is that if this show is as bad as if it's as bad as people are claiming and it's taking it so far off of the rails and just the original format of what Scooby-Doo was, they had to have known this was on purpose. Like, I don't think it's an FU to fans. I just think that they knew that they were going so far out the box that this was probably going to happen, and they didn't give a fuck. They just decided to do it anyway.
But
I respect. I respect shit.
But do you think that this is like the anticipation for that, like them being like, well, no matter what we create, it's not going to be accepted?
No,
so let's go ham.
I don't know if that's what's being done, but I think that Mindy said, this is what I want to do. Are you guys going to greenlight it? They greenlit it. So she was like, all right, now I just hope you guys understand this is going to be some off the wall shit. This probably isn't going to land well. So get ready. And they just did it anyway. So
do you think it gets greenlit for a second season?
Absolutely not. Like there's no way. There's nothing to constitute a second season. It's not like she's producing this herself. Like she's going to a major.
Yeah, there's a director.
There's just a major publication that she has to go to distribute this. Yeah. So if there's no support from the fans or from the critics, I don't see how they can justify doing it. Now, if she was funding this herself, just like with Stephen, the reason why Stephen Baldwin is it Stephen Baldwin or Alec Baldwin? Yeah. The reason why Alec Baldwin is in so much hot water is because that was that movie, that Rust movie is not coming from a major studio. He is the producer of that movie. He's the final word on that. So when it comes to the gun and when it comes to people's safety, that's him. That's his responsibility. Yeah. So like when you're in control of your own shit, you can do things, like again, shortcutting the prop guy or the prop gun guy. So now you have a situation on your hands. Yeah, she doesn't have that leeway.
You're so veteran at being on sets and film, and you can already know, like, you're supposed to know these things too, like as a professional, like what to look for, I guess. So
yeah, and she has to go to Netflix, wherever the fuck. Where's this? This is on HBO, right? HBO. This is Warner Brothers. So she's got to go to Warner Brothers and say, hey, I want to make a second season. They were like, no, you can't. Like that's you can't. There's just no reason. There's no way we can make another one. It's just gonna flop. There's just no way.
But again, all types of drama is good drama. Even though it's got shit reviews, it's still fucking reviewed very highly by the numbers of people that have left reviews. Yeah. So that means there's a bunch of people numbers wise that are at least tuning in.
Yeah, but you don't.
But you know what I mean, though, right?
No, I get what you mean.
Any good press is bad.
I was gonna say, yeah, any press is good press, but not at a 6%, dog. Like I don't know how.
Like the ratings are fucking trashed out.
I don't know how you can spin that.
Can you imagine those people from Dragon Ball Z are like, yes,
thank God, thank you, Mindy Kaling, you are a angel that was sent from above. Thank you for getting this heat off of us, bro.
Oh, we're gonna get a review of. We're gonna have to go back to Dragon Ball.
But listen. Don't think you guys are safe. I will never take my pressure off of the necks of the people that put out that fucking stupid ass.
We're gonna have to go back and watch it.
I will maintain that pressure on their freaking necks for as long as I shall drag air in this world, bro. That atrocity will never. It will never catch a break with me ever. I don't care how many Velmas there are. You are still the worst movie of all time, hands down.
See, okay, so Sal says in the comment section, this is a really good point. The problem with Velma is that it's made for an older crowd. And that same crowd is the one that grew up with the original. So, of course, more than likely, that crowd is going to compare it. This is just my take on that. Is going to compare it to the original. And that makes sense. I mean, that makes perfect sense. Yeah,
but to me, all that means to me is
like Sal also says later, this is a good point. Mindy took a swing and it was a miss. Nobody is perfect, but at least she tried.
And I agree with that.
And I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. She took a chance. She's an artist. She has her mentality on what she thinks works and what doesn't work. She had a vision. They attacked it. Wasn't accepted. Back to the drawing board.
That is always, and I appreciate Sal for saying that, because that is always going to be my perspective. Like, I don't like the cookie cutter. This is how it has to be. I like the people that take chances, that take risks, especially with major IP. Do you know how much, like what kind of balls that takes for someone to do? Like, I like to see that, and I like to see them whether or not they're gonna win or fail. Yeah, like I like to see that. So I'm all for it, and I wish more people would do it. No matter how many people it pisses off, it is what it is. In this day and age, everyone's gonna be pissed off about something anyway. So like,
it's okay to be passionate. It's okay to have a passion about something, and that's not a problem. Yeah. But I think it's always better to I've said this before and I said it again. I get mad at a lot of stuff when they change it up. But the thing is, deep down inside, I'm just happy to be able to have that type of opportunity to see those things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
what's up, Triggs?
What's up, Triggs? How you doing, my dude? Like, what a cool chance to be alive that we had the opportunity to see a Scooby-Doo that's not based on Scooby-Doo. That's just fucking so wild and out of place. Like, now we have something to talk about and shit on and fucking laugh at and discuss. Yeah. And then what? Maybe this invigorates the series and then they go back. Maybe fucking Freddie Prinze Jr. fucking pops off and buys the Scooby-Doo IP and wants to save it and bring back the crew in a new fucking Bleach animated series drawn by Mappa and Attack on Titan and fucking Scooby-Doo just gets a whole new like reinvigorated situation. I don't know, dude. Maybe the waterfall is going to happen.
Yo, if this is the reason why we get some new Scooby-Doo shit, that's wild.
Fucking 4K, dude, Scooby-Doo. And I'm telling you, like the one that I just talked about, like Daphne is a psych major. She teaches classes and she's like fucking national treasure. Fred is like a fucking Rainbow Six cop, going around doing some fucking worldwide saving the president and prisoner shit.
That just reminded me, did you hear about Michael B. Jordan's
dude, yes,
Rainbow Six shit? Yes, is he producing that? Is he producing?
So a lot of people, I don't know if you got to see it, and I told people about it.
Yeah,
he made a fucking a Prime Video series called Without Remorse.
I did, okay, yeah.
And Without Remorse is a Rainbow Six series.
Yeah,
it's based on the same dude who made Rainbow Six, and at the very end, he's approached on the fucking Marvel style fucking post credit fucking video or whatever. Someone goes up to him on a fucking bridge, and they're like, "We want you to handle a team. It's going to be called Rainbow Six." And he's like, bet. I got to go to Wakanda, though. I'm going to go fucking Black Panther some shit. But
that is one of those pretty things. Dope.
Yeah, dude. And fuck, Without Remorse, if you have not seen it, watch it. Michael B. Jordan does an amazing job in that film. So damn solid. And who would not be excited to see a Rainbow Six series? Based on the success in the last video game with all the characters that were individualized with names and themes and all this stuff, they're going to bring all of those characters in. Mm-hmm. Like every one of those characters is eventually going to get a part in the role. And there's like 13 characters and all of them are specialists with cool ass weapons. There's like a chick with a kawaii, a drone that she flies around that does little like anime shit. There's like a dude with a sledgehammer, a dude with a fucking a tank fucking shield that goes like everybody's got some cool ass theme, which is 100% you having the opportunity to play Warzone and put on your fucking weed skin with
camouflage,
all the plants and shit. It's 100% that. It's Rainbow Six. It's a military movie based on people that are all ghosts. Like everybody's got some cool ass masks. I am 100% for that. I'm so like, don't get me wrong. I love films when it comes to like the military movies that are like really done very well.
Yeah.
But to see one where all of the characters are like haloed out, every one of them has their own cool personality in their costumes. Like that's what I'm kind of like, when are we going to get that in an actual film?
Yeah.
Like, when are we going to get that? And I'm super excited. Rainbow Six kind of feels to me like that's where it's going to go. And like I said, if it follows the same format, maybe a little bit more action when it comes to Without Remorse, dude, we're in for a great film. in for a great film. Okay, going back just a little bit, we've already kind of talked about Velma, and what's beautiful is I love the guys that watch our show, everybody that's in here, like to see you guys say, hey, you know what, like this person, whoever it is, took a chance, and even though it was a hit or miss, they still got the opportunity. That makes me so happy to have those type of people watching our show. So understandable that we're not just shitting on it just to shit on it, and we have real thinkers in the show. That makes me super happy. But I must ask, and I must say, overall, your first experience with being that you played the game. Tell me about your experience for Last of Us.
The show.
Yeah. The show. Like how did you feel being that you actually like were a big fan of the game? You played through it several times. You know the story. Like you got to experience it. And the reason why I say this is like a lot of people, when it comes to having IPs that we're passionate about, that have history and all that stuff, we don't get that opportunity much where like it sticks very close to the source material. And being that we're big fans of Marvel, being that we're big fans of DC, and we've seen them do the creative nature and build, and some hit and some miss, how did it feel to see someone that stayed so close to the material and like get to experience it almost like it was like 1-for-1 off of the video game? Like, what did that feel like, dude?
I'm gonna sound like a total fucking psycho, but it was refreshing.
It really was. Oh shit, dude! Even
it was good. Yo, it was good. It was good because like that could have went south really quick. Like if they didn't get this corrected, they didn't get the right characters, I think that's my problem. I think that when I'm looking for something to stick to, I think that's what it is. I think I used to be a person that used to be a stickler for sticking to the source material, but like no one ever pulls it off, bro. No one ever fucking does it right. So why would I continuously think that someone else is going to be able to do it and then, you know, just have my hopes shattered? So I just stopped caring and just saying, you know what, just let people do whatever the fuck they want. But this, they fucking nailed it.
Well,
Chris.
Not only that, of course, like throughout the years, we've seen it where it's like this video game to movie curse, where like we saw Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed tried its best to stick to the source material, or even World War Z, like The Last of Us kind of stuff, where like they tried their best to stick to the source material, and just the transition of it going to film, like it did not go well. You know what I mean? Like it just did not properly be expressed correctly.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, from what I've heard from people is that this one is like extremely well done.
And honestly, and I hate this, but in this instance, I don't hate it as much. A lot of critics got the first 4 episodes, I think.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of people were saying that it picks up. This next episode is going to pick up. There may or may not be a lot of controversy after the second or the third episode, because that's going to be a little much for some people. And then the 4th episode is when it really starts kicking into high gear. Listen, I just wanted to say Nico Parker, she's the one that's playing she's the one that's just playing the daughter. She did a phenomenal job. Pedro Pascal as Joel, great.
Almost like identical, man. Like when they age him up in the second part of the episode, like the blue shirt and all that stuff. What's up, smokers, man? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Thank you for jumping in, talking about The Last of Us.
They even made sure that they got it down to the right clothes. Like I definitely appreciated that. There's Marlene, the one that's playing like the rebel leader or whatever. She's like dressed to the T. They even had like a mention of Riley in the episode when Ellie was captured by was talking to Marlene or whatever, and they mentioned Riley. And for those that don't know, Riley is like the best friend of Ellie, the little girl, the main character, little girl in the show. But we didn't know who that was until we got the DLC from the video game.
Yep.
And that story is kind of wild. And it kind of alluded to the fact that Ellie is part of the LGBTQ community.
Of course.
And so I think that's going to play a major part. So I'm looking forward to all of this. Like a lot of people didn't catch that Riley mentioned, but I did. That kind of got me geeked. So,
but like you
cool.
mentioned that the character of Ellie does have like some connection or relativity to the LGBT community, based on the DLC that was released from the first video game, Last of Us. And there was a lot of controversy in the second video game based on the LGBT situation, but being removed from this part of the conversation, it was pretty accepted, wasn't it? The DLC with the character, and they were in the mall and they were stuck together.
That was amazing. I had fun. Like that was,
from what I heard, it was very organically
I liked
written,
it. Yeah,
and it was very beautifully written.
Yeah, I liked it.
Do you feel if the story sticks true to the storyline in the video game,
it is. And I've heard that this first season of The Last of Us is basically the first game.
Okay, good.
Like the entire first game is going to be this first season. But
what I'm asking is I feel it. I feel like that's going to be a really good thing about the film. And being that I do remember when they released that first DLC, and a lot of people were like, oh, I got that vibe from the video game that she was kind of like in the realm of being bisexual or something in that nature, or into girls. But the DLC kind of solidified it a little bit more, right? But I heard that it was written very well. Do you feel like when they bring that to the live action film, it'll help with a really great organic storyline for the LGBT community to kind of be like, we're always looking for some way to be shown or represented? Do you feel like that's going to be a great thing for the community?
I think, yes. And from what I'm hearing, episode 3 is going to dive into other relationships that are going to be represented from like the LGBTQ plus community. That's when I said like it may be controversial because it's going to be it's going to be like a whole episode of just a relationship that people aren't going to see coming. And I think it's not part of the video game as well. So they are taking liberties with certain things. So a lot of people are going to be butthurt about episode 3 is what I'm hearing. So buckle up.
Episode 3 is going to slightly deviate from the
with a few characters.
But is this part going to be based on like a backstory that wasn't explained? That's going to get opened up more.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm just taking the word of some people that I've known has seen it, some reviewers that have seen it, and unanimously they're saying that episode 3 may get a little dicey for some people, and they don't know whether or not people would be interested to watch afterwards.
So you feel like it might be a shunning,
a deterrent or whatever. I'm all for it, dude. Like I don't care. Just as long as me, as long as it's written well and acted well, and acted well, I'm in it for the long haul. But yeah, some people are afraid of that. But you know what? It is good to know that there is some representation, in this, highly anticipated, highly received show.
And you know what? As a matter of fact, a lot of people talk about it, how like the gaming community is very toxic, right? You jump in a Halo server, you jump in a Modern Warfare server, and you get called every name you can think of, and your mom's been banged in so many different ways all the time in those kind of servers. But that's why I think that this story of The Last of Us is very, very cool, is because gamers around the world accepted The Last of Us as
I'm sorry to cut you off. Trix said exactly what I said, because you remember the comment was like, I forgot who said it, but someone said like we needed this show after The Walking Dead, and I was like, I don't know. I think we're all kind of like, I don't know if it was Mike, I don't forget who it was, but I was like, I think we might have OD'd on like the whole like apocalypse shit. The reason why this works, even with us being tired of that shit, is because it was beautifully done. Like it doesn't make a difference whether or not The Walking Dead was in its heyday right now as we speak. This is so good that it would trump it, if not stand on its own 2 feet. I think that's what I was trying to say.
As a matter of fact, too, I think it's also because of the introduction of how the zombies are created, where it's not that same like, oh, the gates of hell closed and all the dead are coming back. Like there's almost like a legitimate like, hey, you know what? Like check out these mushrooms and parasites that have taken over ants and they make them into zombies. Like, well, why can't that be humans? And it kind
of like that.
I like really that. Like, great story.
Like, I like that.
It almost gives relativity to like to why. Well, why the fuck not? Like,
why? And then they brought in the whole climate change shit. Like, holy shit! I was like, that could be true.
I dig stories when it comes to that, where they find some type of way to like mesh it into real world situations.
Yeah.
Like, but in a good way, right? Like, and I'm not just a fucking like, oh, fucking now we're dealing with this guy, you know, not like that. Like, it has to be written in very well. And there's a really great explanation at the beginning of the story where they're talking about the fungus and the mushrooms and how it correlates to breaking down the ants. And we've of course, all of us are fucking conspiracy weird nerdy people have been stuck on the Discovery Channel, and we all know about those fucking weird fucking TikTok videos of mantises being the fucking worms in their butts, and they fucking change the whole psychological aspect of the bug and turning into zombies. And I think if you've ever been in that realm of that conspiracy, you're kind of like, oh fuck, well what stops it from just changing into human beings and just taking over them fungus wise?
Yeah.
And it correlates to that really, really scary opportunity for it, like, to ever come to actual fruition. Yeah. And it's just such a cool way, because it's always been such a mystery of how the zombies come to truth in stories. Even with The Walking Dead, it was so kind of like a hit or miss, where it was like, what caused it? Oh, was it blood transfer? But what was the origination? Oh, fish oils? Or was it in the water? Or did we already ingest it? Who knows? Mystery, but blood and bite and all this stuff changes. With this one, it's like, no, man. Like that shit, like, yeah, it can be transferred by bite because it's a parasite. Later on, you're going to find out, if you played the game, that there's spores, like style, like different.
So that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's different, is like there's no the whole spores thing is kind of it's not existent in this, because there was a scene where Pedro Pascal was basically touching a body that had the fungus all over it, and if this was the game, it
never infected him, right? It would have been
yeah. And if this was the game, you would have been fucked. And like in the game, it's important because they would have like the gas mask or whatever. Masks. I'm assuming they might have. I don't know why they would change that in this show. I'm assuming because they don't want to have Pedro Pascal walking around in a gas mask, like
I mean, that kind of like, I mean, correlates to the show. Like, you can have really cool like scenes where, like, you know, fucking gas mask, flashlight, really wide, so where you know it's still him. Like, you can get away with it. That's just directing. But like, do you feel that kind of takes away from the opportunity to have this like more severity of the situation, like there's more fear involved, or do you feel like that's a little too much? Like, hey, man,
I think I know what you're saying. I was able to accept it again, like, okay. Like that scene specifically stands out because he was literally up on, you know, the body, and again, if it was the game, that wouldn't have been any good. So it's noticeable, I will say that. Is it taking me completely out? No.
Triggs is like, well, he even said he didn't want to be crouching so much, and it's like, yeah, sneaking around and shit. Can you imagine the whole game is them just fucking low crouching? That'd be boring to watch, man. Fuck no, but they do have to like make it more realistic, I guess. Yeah. And I think if you add spores, it kind of goes to that first thing, to where I was watching it with, of course, our best friend Christella, my best friend Christella. She said, are the zombies going to be running? And because I think like when you're watching a zombie movie and you see zombies running, you 100% know there's no fucking way you're going to survive that shit, dude. Like anytime, you're just going to be like, we're all dead. We just might as well accept it. And what's cool about that is like Harvard or Stanford, some university, they did a study on how long the earth and humanity would survive if zombies could run, like Dawn of the Dead, the movie in the mall, where they were just like fucking Olympic sprinters.
Yeah.
And 7 days and all of humanity gets taken over. There's just no way.
I think you got us fucked up. Do you think, no, you know what's crazy is like there are people that are preparing for this day. They have bomb shelters, and there's a lot of them. Like there's a lot of people like that. I think, I have a little bit more faith in humanity and in our will to live. I might give us 2 weeks. 7 days is a little bit crazy. I'm gonna give us a little bit more than 7 days. I'm gonna take the over.
Think about how the time of travel for information, right? Everybody correlates their information based on the internet.
And that was the one thing about the show that I think
makes sense.
They got that perfect.
That made a lot of sense.
They got that perfect. Just the way that you can tell how slow news traveled years ago as opposed to now. Something could be happening 2 days a block away and you have no fucking idea. Now, something that happens across the world, in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that was another thing that rang out to me as well. Like that they did that.
But with the way, media and everything siphons material that they want us to know and not know, would we actually get that information on time? I think that would be a good fucking story too. Here we go, Brian. Here we go. Before we leave, we're almost
tinfoil time. Tinfoil time.
Tinfoil. Let me get my Hershey Kiss hat on. Let me get my tinfoil hat on. If you were gonna make a zombie story, what would you make it like? What would be your thing?
Make it like?
Yeah, what would be your fucking like story? It could be anything. It could be like, I don't know if you ever saw that picture of like the kids on the playground fighting off zombies on a play, like on a jungle gym, and they're like in a castle and they're like shields and Nerf bats and shit. It could be anything. It could be based on anything. What would
honestly? I think the more terrifying, the better. And I don't think there's a more terrifying zombie than what's that Will Smith movie?
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. The smart one.
Man,
that smart motherfucker.
Yeah, the one that lives in the nighttime and shit.
Yeah, I would just make all of them that smart. Like I would make them because
they're usually like tribal, weren't they?
Yeah, it's usually like one of them that are like smart and the rest of them just
like
dumb as fuck. I'm gonna make them all just super fucking smart. And honestly, I would make them super fucking smart. Like, and then not only that, but like they could fly. Like I would just make them just the most scariest OP motherfuckers on the planet, bro.
They could read minds. They're telekinetic.
Telekinetic, all that shit. Brain. And there's a lot of them. Like, yeah. So literally, there's only gonna be like a handful of people that can fight these motherfuckers, and everyone else is dead. Like, just no shot.
Jesus Christ, Brian, you don't want humanity to survive at all, man.
I mean, if you're gonna give me a zombie apocalypse, let's make it the zombie apocalypse, bro. Let's not fuck around with it.
Okay, so if you were gonna make it into a film or a story, would the story be about the humans surviving or the zombies
taking over? That's what it would be. The extinction.
The zombies are the characters.
The extinction of mankind and the new race, like this zombie nation or this zombie breed, will be the inhabitants of the world.
It's like Marvel Zombies do it all over again. Yeah, like to where there's like some type of intelligence to them doing crazy shit.
And there's a hierarchy.
I have 2 stories, dude. Okay. And you know me and my wild shit when it comes to storytelling. Like this shit's gonna get done one day, with or without me. If I'm here or not, someone's gonna hear this episode and they're gonna be like, "I'm making that bitch into a real movie."
You see where Rob's head is? He wants to know
strippers.
Yo, in the zombie apocalypse, whenever we ever turn into zombies, there's gonna be a strip club, and we're gonna be in the strip club with the zombies. I like it. I actually like it.
He's gonna have him chained to the poles, and he's just gonna be like, "It's cool. Yeah. I'm just here for the show." Okay, that's so funny. The first story would be based on a guy who is in the zombie apocalypse, and the only house that he's close to that he can fortify is the most haunted house in his neighborhood. Okay. So he has to survive the zombie apocalypse in a Grudge styles ghost story. So while he's on the inside of the house dealing with ghosts, the zombies are banging on the windows.
Okay.
I think that would be a real like fucking Friday. I need to have like just some funny ass comedian be the dude stuck in the house, like as he's slowly like going crazy. But then I wouldn't even know where that story would go. Like, would it be where the zombies come in and then the ghost helps him fight back and shit? You know what I mean? But that would be cool because it's
Ghost
like
zombies.
what do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you, out of both complete evils, what do you deal with? Yeah, you see, fucking Triggs is like T.J. Miller, dude. T.J. Miller would be perfect for that film. But like, what do you do? Like, in that situation, what do you prefer?
To be a ghost or a zombie?
No, not to be a ghost, but to be either out in the zombie apocalypse, like trying to survive, or be stuck in a house with ghosts while there's zombies outside.
Well, do the ghosts kill you?
I mean, we can make it go either way. If it can't, or
well, no, I need to know because that's going to decide whether or not I'm going to risk being out in the zombies or being in this house.
Okay, let's say no. Let's say no. But
if they can't, then I'm chilling. I'm chilling in the crib with the ghost. Like what the fuck? Like I'm chilling.
Fucking listen, best friend,
listen, bro. You could be as scary as you want, bro. But like we're gonna have to share this. Yeah, we're gonna have to share this space. So you need to chill the fuck out, and that's your side of the house. This is my side of the house. You know what I'm saying? You want to watch some TV? I could put on whatever show you like, and we'll chill. Because I'm not going outside. You're not getting rid of my ass. So it's like
fucking funny, dude. Just
you got to deal with me. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I'm inside. What kind of question
like
is that?
The fucking scariest ghost, dude. Like I'm talking like fucking
that's cool.
Fingers.
He would be scary for like the first day or two. Then I'd be like, look, bro. Like, yeah, bro, like knock it off. Knock it the fuck off, bro. Like just chill out.
Be like, look, just look outside the window. That's what I'm dealing with, man. If you're not at that level, we're good. You're just
I would give him a name. I'd give him like a common name, like
Fred,
like Jeremy Craig, or something. Yeah, Jeremy. Jeremy, shut the fuck up, bro. Go back.
It's just that fucking funny, dude. But dude, you can't tell me that wouldn't be like at first it would be really creepy and then just turn into like a comedy, like a sitcom.
Yeah. No, that's how I envisioned it. Yeah. We would pull up, watch TV together and shit.
So the next one is something that I've been sitting on for a very long time. I have a bunch of these stories that I've kind of fucked with. And it's about a guy who's kind of like a nobody, video game tester, kind of just does his own thing, has a girlfriend, but she's not very happy with him. And he has a best friend who's he's in college with, who is a video game designer, and he's trying to design like the top horror game of the world, which is based on zombies. But the cool thing about his story is he is making the first ever like zombie AI, which is a programmable system that in the video game, when the zombies start up, they automatically just do their own thing. They just do their own kind of mentality. So they're not really like you don't have to program them or give them a line that they have to follow and track and path, right?
Okay.
So he's kind of like on the verge of solving this zombie AI, but he's really into like video games with his friends. But in the same process, the world itself has been making like the iRobot thing where they're creating robots for people. And what happens is the AI guy gets invited to one of the events. He steals or he takes his AI program and he wants to see if it works in one of the robots. Mm-hmm. But what he does is instead he ends up putting it in the system and it gets released to all the robots. So you have like these iRobots that all have like self-replicating nanomachines that like help it from messing up. It never runs out of energy. It's just constant, strong, unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And he turns them on by accident, not knowing that it's not just one with a kill switch. It's all of them all together with all the zombie AI. And they're all released throughout the world and they're killing people and murdering people. And the one guy that's able to save people is the game tester, because in the process of him fighting a zombie off that's about to kill him, he gets his Wii control and aims it at the thing to hit it, and it triggers, and the zombie reacts to the Wii remote. And then he figures out and finds out that the IR sensor in the game control reacts to the AI. So then these guys, these little group of people end up going to like arcades, grabbing the old like NES scopes and the Sega scope. Remember that shit from back in the day? And the Nintendo clickers. And those are the guns they're using to take these zombies out. And then eventually they make it across town. They get to the military and they tell them like how to stop these zombies because there's millions. They made one for every household, just like iRobot, right? So, and they're correlating these zombies. And of course, like my dream in that thing growing up was I wanted to have Gunny from like what is it? A Full Metal Jacket. All right, maggots, put your guns in the bins and grab a plastic pistol. Get ready. Now, don't be a bum. And I wanted him to be doing that while he's telling everybody to grab the IR guns that the government is giving to soldiers to destroy these zombies. And then it ends up being like a huge, like 500, 600 man war against zombies at the end. But you don't have explosions. You don't have guns. You just hear that.
Okay.
It's all the clicking of the fucking Nintendo guns. But like people are screaming and crying. There's like the Leonardo DiCaprio shooting the guns, crying from Romeo and Juliet moments. Like I just wanted to be hyper emotional with like no like big build up to like the what's his name? Transformers guy, the one with all the explosions, Michael Bay kind of moments.
Yeah.
I would just be hyper boring while they're just trying to survive this situation. And then at the end, you have the guy like living in a badass house with a do not break. And it's like the fucking Nintendo Zapper. The Nintendo Zapper. And I was like, dude, that would be so cool if you just took that concept of the zombie and of course you bastardize it into making it to where they're robots that just think they're zombies and they're fucking eating people. Mm-hmm. Like that'd be wild as fuck. I think that would be a scary fucking. If you wanted to be afraid of the fucking robot apocalypse, I think that's 100% where it's at. Right
why
now.
Have you not made this into like a? Why haven't you done? You literally just made me sit through all that, and I'm sitting here like, why have you written this down? What do you think?
Do you think that would be really cool?
I mean, whether or not I think it's cool or not, obviously you think it's fucking cool. So why don't you just do it? Yeah, so why don't you do it?
I'm always one of these. I have this weird like mentality that I have up like all these crazy ideas, and I just never like. I write them and I never fall through with them.
Gotcha.
But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to be attending that storytellers book thing that Michael Betancourt's hosting, and I'm going to sit there and talk to like-minded people that have gone off and created their author stories and put them out there. And I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn from these people who've done it all by themselves to be able to go and put my own books out. I think I need to be around all of these people so that way I can see them and be like, if they did it, why can't I?
My attention span is, I think you be having me fucked up. My attention span is like that of a child. As soon as you said Nintendo Zapper, I'm on fucking eBay right now looking
at Nintendo Zappers. You're like, I'm
at Nintendo Zappers, bro. Like, so like you and I'm sorry, no disrespect, you just wasted your entire fucking breath and story on me because you said Nintendo Zappers. Sometimes I have trigger words that are just gonna send me to a whole nother realm, dude.
Oh man, so you're gonna buy Nintendo Zappers now? Or
I'm thinking about buying a Nintendo with the fucking Zapper right now, bro.
What gun? Duck Hunt?
Well, of course, Duck Hunt, but I'm trying to figure out whether I want the red one or the white or like the white and gray one.
That's a hard fucking question because growing up, I only had the white and gray one. I never had the red one.
I was always jealous of the people that had the red one. I don't even know how you got the fucking red one.
Right. I'm in the same boat. Well, folks, I want to say, what did you guys think of The Last of Us? Was it a great show? Was it something that you rate very high? And are you excited for the rest of the series? And with the unsuccessful entry of the Velma series, are you excited to see if they fix what they started with? Or are you kind of like, I don't want them to get a second season? Let us know in the comment section. Let us know what you guys thought. Anything that we covered. You know what? There's one thing that I wanted to ask you before we leave, Brian. I know it's getting late in your area, but did you get to see the trailer for The Mandalorian 3 and how do you feel?
Yeah, we did. That was like supposed to be a whole thing. Yeah, I saw it, man. I liked it. I can't wait. I think it's gonna be a great time. And yeah, man, can't wait.
I'm excited. Everybody out in the comment section, if you're excited for The Mandalorian, leave us a comment. Let us know what you are excited for the next season. You want to see Grogu get a helmet? You want to see him throw some people around with his cool ass telekinetic powers? Let us know in the comment section. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate every one of you. To all our extraordinary listeners, thank you all so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for coming by. Leave comments. Thanks for showing us love. Awesome show. Brian, thank you so much. I hope you're doing good out there in Jersey.
Of course.
Congratulations on your new place.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it all done. Thank you to Dr. Strange for letting me his awesome studio today. My internet was slow, so I had to move over here for a bit. I'm pretty close to Brian in New York, I guess, or Manhattan, right?
It's Manhattan. Yeah.
But it was either that, Brian, or of course I have to sit there and let this asshole just stare at me the whole time. Yeah, it wasn't.
Horrible. I wasn't really. Frightening. It's frightening. Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah. But guys, I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate every one of you. To everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again here on the show next Friday, 9 p.m. on the Average Boys Podcast. Don't forget to support us. Follow us on all social medias. Follow us on all your podcasting IPs, anything that's out there, Google, Apple, Amazon, show us what's up, share us, let people know what's up. So that way they can know about the #1 nerd show in the South Texas area and the Jersey area.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. See you guys 2023. It's going to be our year. Oof.
Peace.